Right. Well, why is showing preferred? We've already touched on one reason, but showing is often more vivid, while telling can be flat and boring. Going back to those previous examples, it was winter feels a bit flat and boring. If you're not really paying attention, it can actually just sort of fly right over the surface of your brain and you don't really absorb the information. Whereas somebody shivering or running through a bitter cold wind, pulling their jacket tight around them, that tends to create an image in your brain that actually sticks. Too much telling marks an author as an amateur. Now, you need to remember that particularly agents and editors are very experienced at telling. Their whole careers, their whole lives are spent reading submissions and working out whether this is something they want to publish or not. And if a new submission arrives on their desk, there are a few telltale signs that editors and agents automatically look for. And one of them is too much telling. We will touch on just now when telling is acceptable, but if your whole story is written in a telling style with very little showing, it is immediately going to be a red flag to an editor or agent that maybe this author is not yet ready for publication. And of course, if you're going the self-publishing route and you self-publish, readers may not be quite so savvy. They may not realize why the book's not quite gelling with them or why it wasn't quite the best read, why it just felt a bit average. And they might not be able to understand it, but often looking at the root cause, it might be because there is too much telling in the story rather than a showing that actually let the reader live into the experience. Showing tends to deepen the POV, while telling creates distance between the reader and the character, making the reader aware of an author narrating the story. Again, I'll show you some examples in a short while, but what's really interesting is it doesn't matter whether you're writing first person or third person. Just by using a more showing style, you can actually deepen that POV and take the reader right into the character's head and thoughts. Whereas telling, a line like "it was winter" really places it just is structured in a way that suggests to the reader that there is a third party, this narrator's voice, this author sitting outside the story, telling you what's going on. And it prevents you sometimes, it prevents the reader from really getting into the character's head because they're always aware that there's almost like this voiceover narration going on. It was winter, she was cold, she felt embarrassed. You get the sense that there's this third person telling us how the character is feeling instead of us experiencing it along with the character. And then, of course, this I've already touched on, but by making the reader decide on the character's emotions for themselves, they become much more engaged and actively involved in the storytelling. And that's always the number one prize. The minute you've got your reader actively involved in your story, you're doing the right thing as a writer.